And welcome to a holiday edition of the No Assembly Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing, and I try as hard as I can to embarrass my co-host. Speaking of those co-hosts, here is the trio of creators you all know and love, starting with Roast Me Romina, followed by everyone's favorite arsonist, Audrey Ember, and of course, your favorite sarcastic overlord of the dark web, Roberto Blake. Welcome to the holiday edition of the No Assembly Required podcast, filmed in front of a live YouTube audience. Hope you enjoyed your Turkey Day.
Ooh. Did you guys enjoy your Turkey Day?
Yes.
My gut did, so.
That's what matters.
All right, guys. The important question is, did you guys have leftovers this morning?
This morning?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, did you eat the leftovers this morning?
Well, I had all the pies.
I was considering doing that, but then I knew I would get caught if I did that.
You would get caught?
Yeah.
Why? Is it bad to eat leftovers?
Well, the pie is like sacred, you know? Like if I ate the last piece of pie, nobody would like that.
All you have to do is, like, and Romina, we need to see your face. This is just like, this gimmick isn't working. Like, all you have to do is just
I was trying to tweet.
All you have to do is Mission Impossible, that ish, Audrey. Just, yeah. Copy, strike. Like, yeah, if we literally do 30 seconds of bars of a song that you can barely recognize, apparently you just get copyright claimed. But we don't make any revenue on this podcast, so I don't know why we bother.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't even matter.
No, we normally have the leftovers the day after for dinner again.
Oh, I see. So like everyone has it. Well, I guess. I don't know.
I have it all day, every day.
Yeah, I just have it for like, I just eat it until it's done. You know what I'm saying?
All day, every day.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's a good plan.
What was our plan tonight?
I don't think we have one today. Right?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about abundance mindset. We're gonna talk about what we're grateful for, and talk about Thanksgiving. And you know, y'all are gonna compliment me on my turkey head.
I'm grateful.
It is beautiful.
Wow, Roberto just completely ignored.
Yeah. Moving on. I'm grateful for both of you. I really am grateful for both of you and for you guys putting up with my shenanigans every week.
We tried.
And my text messages every day.
Oh, I think Audrey froze. I think Audrey's dead. She didn't hear what you said. So, of course she leaves. Of course she dies when you say something nice.
That's the Skeletor laugh. That is literally the Skeletor laugh from like back in the 80s. We met again, He-Man. I can literally do the Skeletor voice from like the 80s cartoon. What
other voice can you do?
I mean, I can do a lot of different. Oh, I can do voices like you a wise guy, huh? Talking to me, you squawking to me. I don't see anybody else here.
Squawking.
Yeah, like Goodfeathers, from like Pesto from Goodfeathers from
yeah. No, it's just it was funny because I wasn't
squawking to me.
I
don't see anybody else here. So like, I mean, that's like one and everything. Obviously, I can do the Emperor from Star Wars. You know, so obviously I can do the Emperor and everything. Impressions he can do. Yeah, I can do a little bit of Yoda.
Yeah. Speaking of Yoda, are you up to date with The Mandalorian or not?
I saved tonight's episode. I saved today's episode for tonight.
Ooh, so it's a good one.
Because I know it's Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah, it was a good one, man.
So I'm like, this is chill with my like apple pie and ice cream and just sit back and just chill in the cut and just like, this is me time.
Yeah.
Me time. Sit there with my fat kid meal.
So run us through what your menu was last night. What kind of stuff were you served up?
Green bean salad, which I always love. Lasagna because it's Garfield mode. Pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie, apple pie, yams, collards, ham, turkey, stuffing. What else did we have? Oh, corn on the cob. Always corn on the cob.
Nice. Nice.
Salad.
What kind of lasagna was it? Like, what was in it? Was it just a regular meat lasagna or
Meat, cheese. I always throw on hot sauce, obviously.
like a basic, just your average lasagna?
It's like the multiple cheeses.
Where'd you get it from?
Homemade.
Who made it?
My mom and sisters made that. I mean, there's things that I cook like for Thanksgiving. Like everybody in the family cooks something, and so I forgot what my brother cooked, but like everybody does something, and we all help and we all pitch in. It's a family affair, and I can cook. Remember, I can cook. Like I threatened to cook for y'all once, like when everyone lived here.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just asking, because everybody's got their own specialties, right? You know what I'm saying? So I just was curious to know if you had made the lasagna or not. Because my dad makes the lasagna. That's like his thing.
It's my favorite. So like people make it for me because they know it's my favorite.
Yeah, because you're the Dark Lord Emperor.
Well, there's that. But like people know, like
people make lasagnas. People come from miles away.
If something's your favorite dish, other people make that dish. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
It's like if like whatever somebody else's favorite thing is, you make that. You get what I'm saying? It's like
right. Yeah, no, I get that. And like, so I just moved to Miami, and because of that, I don't really have like a big group of people to really give food to. And so, but for me, like Thanksgiving is actually like, it's my favorite. And I make everything. Like I make the whole thing. I spend like 2 days cooking, just making because I make everything from scratch. And so it takes me a long time, and I basically don't do anything else for 2 whole days, but I do it because I like to do it and because it's fun and because I just love Thanksgiving, and I love the idea of just making a bunch of food and having a bunch of people come to the house and eat it. But I didn't do that this year. Hopefully next year things will be different. But I feel like, Thanksgiving is just like my thing. Like nobody else in the family does that. But Audrey, Roberto just told me what the menu was for his Thanksgiving. My menu was very simple. I just went to a restaurant and like they had a set menu. Like a friend of my parents invited us out to go dinner. So it was very simple. Just a couple hours out, got like restaurant food because they had like a set menu, and that was it. It was very small, very intimate, and very, basic.
For people alone for the holidays, I recommend Boston Market for people who either are
yes,
alone
actually I have had their Boston Market Thanksgiving food. It's great. It's great. I had it one year because I think I was traveling or something like that. Like I was on the road. And so it was like, when you hit the Midwest and like all these places, there's like, it's like just chain.
There was like a year. There was like a year where everyone was like emotionally drained and exhausted because I think we'd went to like a funeral or something like that, and then the next week was Thanksgiving, and it was like a whole thing. So we just ended up it was like a couple of years back. We ended up just doing Boston Market, and buying like a lot of it, and like it was really good. It was like having a homemade Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Nick Pick
It's also
Thrift.
cheaper.
Nick Pick Thrift in the chat. She says she was alone and still cooked for herself.
Oh, I'm sorry you were alone, Nick.
The only reason that
I hope you had a good Thanksgiving anyway.
The only reason that I don't do that is just because I make so much food. Like I can't think about making Thanksgiving for like one person, It's like the whole turkey and like the mashed potato. Like if you make like the whole thing, it's a lot of food, right? So it's just like I can't.
Why don't you just have
imagine
leftovers for like ever? There's just one person. You're meal prepping in advance for like the next month.
Yeah. Assuming that
for,
there's
like-
not a global pandemic next year and everything like that, like you guys might be able to come to Thanksgiving. I mean, you probably would just spend it with your families, but like maybe I'll have people over. Maybe I'll even literally after like the real Thanksgiving dinner,
Friendsgiving.
Like I can do a Friendsgiving mukbang.
Ooh, that's what's up. Audrey, what did you do for Thanksgiving? Oh, did she freeze again? I think she did. Just when I was gonna rope her into the conversation.
Wow, like I don't know what's going on with her Wi-Fi over there.
She's got bad Wi-Fi.
Issues. She's got issues. But yeah,
Oh wait, she's back. Oh no, never mind. All right, I guess she knows. But yeah, are you eating leftovers right now, Roberto? As we squeak.
Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
because
Audrey.
I worked all day today.
Switched our Wi-Fi today, so I think it's kind of iffy.
Audrey, tell us what your menu was last night.
Turkey. We had
Let's get
beans.
specific here.
But what do you mean specific?
I want to eat with your adjectives. Like tell me.
A baked turkey.
Wow.
We had beans that my dad likes to make. It's like a special recipe he has. And then we had cranberry sauce, green bean thing that my mom makes, and
You mean green bean casserole?
yes, and mashed potatoes. I think that's about it. Yeah, I think that was, and like a salad, but no one ate the salad. Of course.
What kind of salad was it? Was it just like a Caesar salad? Like
It was
Caesar
like a
beef?
kale salad, which is why no one.
Okay.
I would have ate it. I love me some kale. Superfood for
I
the
mean,
win.
I like kale too, but not on Thanksgiving. You know
Yeah,
what
I mean, there's so many other things that like you only really have on Thanksgiving, or like you don't have as much throughout the year. You know what I mean? So it's like you can have kale whenever.
Exactly. I just
Yeah.
like,
I
kale
feel
salad.
that.
I think my mom just kind of threw that in there to try and be more healthy, but then no one ate.
No, I feel that. I feel that. So do you guys have any like traditions that you guys do with your family like every year or
I mean, it's normally
Traditionally-
just like my parents and my brother. Like we don't, because my family lives kind of everywhere, so we don't have. We've never. I think we've had we've went to see, like my dad's side once before, and yeah, that's kind of it because everyone lives different places. So it's normally just me, like my brother, and my parents. So it was kind of normal this year, but it was good.
Since my grandmother passed, we usually would alternate holidays in New York with my uncle and my little cousin. And
Yeah.
we didn't do that this year, obviously, because of the pandemic. So there was that. And even if there wasn't a pandemic, I'm not sure my uncle would have been up for it this year. So, it is what it is. But the other thing we do is we typically do on the weekend of Thanksgiving. So it'd be this weekend. We usually put up the tree. Even if we don't put up all the decorations, we decorate it throughout the month, but we put up the tree Thanksgiving weekend. So that's usually what we'll do. And I just have to, this year I have to see like if I have everything I need for the tree in the basement or if I'm just buying a new one. So we do that. One of the other things is we'll watch like all the old claymation Christmas movies throughout like, the holidays. Like, so Rudolph, Frosty, all of them,
Yeah. Yeah.
all of the, trying to remember which company, was it Rankin Bass who did all the claymation Christmas? Do you remember, Romina?
Oh, no, I don't know.
It was like, somebody probably knows which animation company, but it was like, it was this old school animation company. I want to say it's Rankin Bass, who also did, Thundercats back in the day. I think it was Rankin Bass that did all of like the claymation Christmas specials. Little Drummer Boy,
Yeah.
Rudolph, Baby New Year, Christmas in July, Santa and the Winter Warlock, Jack Frost.
Did you ever do any of the Precious Moments ones? Like,
What do you mean?
were you did the Precious Moments, like the whole collection? They had like movies and books and like all this stuff. Were you guys ever into that?
We might have. I had all like of the old Walden, like when like the Walden's Golden books for children. Like I had all of those. They might be in storage.
Yeah, the Precious Moments was like they're like little angels and like all this stuff. It was like but they had like a lot of Christmas stuff too, and just
We might have.
I'm sure if you see it, someone in your family, I bet like
Probably.
an aunt or something had something because that was like the thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's so hot anymore.
We used to have, and that thing is like my grandmother's storage stuff got lost, or taken or whatever it is. So like we used to have like all of these really old, like the old Christmas Village decorations and like everything, like the classic stuff, like the stuff that I don't even know if Sears even still sells the stuff, and if they do, it's expensive. But I'm literally gonna piecemeal recollect all of these things from my childhood. I feel like in many ways, I feel like my adulthood, post not struggling anymore, has been recollecting the things that make me go back to the points of my childhood when I actually felt really happy or really safe. I think that's literally been probably something discussed with my therapist. But yeah, I think that's literally how I do it. I think literally that's how I do it with like the way that I throw stuff at the holidays, and the way that I always like, want to decorate for Christmas and do stuff. I think even the way that I put together my room is like an extension of the way my parents like set up my room when I was a kid, with all of my favorite things out where I could see them, and everything was organized and had a place. Like I think that literally part of being an adult at a certain point is giving yourself permission to retreat back into the safety of your childhood, or the happiness of your childhood, whichever way you interpret it. Safety, happiness, comfort.
Yeah, I kind of feel that. I've kind of been feeling that too. Like I understand what it is that you're saying. And I think maybe that's partly why I watch older stuff too. It's kind of comforting because it's something that I'm kind of familiar with, Last night I watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles in
God.
commemoration of Thanksgiving. I know that Audrey never watched it.
You guys have talked about it before, so at least now I'm aware of what it is.
Yeah, the best Thanksgiving movie ever. What's
It's on the list.
Oh, I did watch a Christmas movie the other day, Lethal Weapon. It was great.
But see, I feel like you guys mixed Christmas and Thanksgiving a lot. That is not okay.
Lethal Weapon isn't a Christmas
family.
movie. Die Hard is.
But I disagree with that statement. But
wait a second, what are you disagreeing with?
Lethal Weapon is not a Christmas movie.
No, Audrey is saying something right now. What are you saying, Audrey?
Am I glitching? No, Christmas, like, my parents don't want to even talk about Christmas before Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? So, like, Christmas movies, like, nothing before Thanksgiving happens. And it's like, it's only been a couple days from Thanksgiving. Like, give it a break. Like, give it a couple weeks,
No, I get it too. I mean, I don't really...
I think that's sad, but...
No. I mean, do you not care for Thanksgiving?
No, I like Thanksgiving, but I also like Christmas, and I want to start celebrating.
You want to do the two things at the same. Well, now that you have your own little corner of the world,
we already have our Christmas tree up in our apartment before I left. So
wow, yeah, this is it. This is like the extent of my of my holiday celebration. Yeah, this is it. I've got like a little nativity set. I've got some like fake Hanukkah candles.
Nice.
Like I'm
You're not a Scrooge, though.
I'm good.
You're not a Scrooge, though, right?
I'm not a Scrooge.
Romina definitely is a Scrooge. She doesn't even know what it is.
I'm Scrooge after he was visited by the three ghosts of Christmas.
No, I'm not a Scrooge. And I'm not a Grinch either. Although I do love the Grinch. I would say the Grinch is probably one of my favorite holiday stories.
I'm all about Scrooge McDuck. I'm about the Disney Mickey Mouse Scrooge McDuck Christmas special.
Wow, so specific.
Yeah, no, it's like, because you can say Scrooge is like, if you're Scrooge, it could be the traditional Christmas Carol live action. Or if you're like me, it could be Bill Murray Scrooged. But if you're me, it's got to be all about that, Mickey Mouse Club Scrooge McDuck special. It's got to be that, like, Mickey's Christmas Carol. It's got to be Mickey's Christmas Carol, which was, you had Scrooge, Donald, Mickey as Bob Cratchit.
So let's go back to Lethal Weapon for a second, because Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie. They talk about Christmas constantly, and it's Christmas themed. Yeah, and so is Die Hard.
Yeah, Die Hard is Lethal Weapon. Christmas movies. I will die on this hill.
What do you mean it isn't? Have you seen? When was the last time you watched Lethal Weapon? It's literally on it's Christmas themed. The whole thing is about Christmas.
I feel like you guys are arguing the same point. No?
And Lethal Weapon. It is a Christmas movie. I'm not arguing that, but I'm also saying so is Lethal Weapon. What's the problem in that? Why are you trying to fight here? You can die on your hill if you want to, Roberto. I'll die on my hill too. We'll both die on hills. It's fine.
Right.
Lethal Weapon came before Die Hard, so. Ooh.
Silent,
Whatever.
I like it. I drove Roberto to a whatever.
Whatever.
This is a bad sign when Roberto has no rebuttal.
When he says whatever?
When he has no rebuttal.
No, it's that I don't want to argue about this.
What is there to argue? There's nothing to argue about.
All right.
Are you saying that Lethal Weapon is not a Christmas movie?
I don't feel like Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie, but I think...
Why not?
Oh, here we go.
Okay, why not?
Die Hard is specifically a Christmas movie.
Okay, why are we talking about Die Hard, though? I'm asking you, why do you think...
The qualifier is, usually you'd have to defend, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? And the obvious answer is yes.
Right.
Lethal Weapon, this is my feelings, like, Lethal Weapon is not specifically a Christmas movie, but Die Hard is.
I can't help either of you with this argument.
What are your points?
Moving on.
I'm taking this to Twitter.
Moving on.
Do a poll. Settle it.
Moving
I'm gonna do a poll.
Look, I don't care about populism.
Yes, moving on. So this podcast is supposed to be it's supposed to be positive, and we're supposed to give thanks to to something and talk about the abundance mindset, not argue about, Lethal Weapon.
I'm thankful to be able to have good arguments.
I'm thankful for Mr. Beast.
Wow. Wait, I don't think Audrey ever heard your first one, Roberto.
Oh,
no,
I
cut out like halfway through.
Oh yeah, I was saying I'm genuinely thankful for you guys putting up with me every week and putting up with my text messages every day.
Oh. Yeah, I love how I cut off immediately before you said anything. You're starting your sentence and then it just died.
Yeah. Every day you guys put up with me complaining about how crappy the world is, and whatever justification I can figure out for burning it down and starting over. and every week you come and you spend time and you hang out with me talking about stuff that doesn't matter. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys too. Oh, my candle just went out. I'm not grateful for that. So you're saying you're grateful for Mr. Beast? Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
I'm grateful for Mr. Beast.
Why is that? You want to give us a
I put into
personal?
perspective. I put into perspective that of all the people who have a platform, and for all the people who have an audience, you know, he's someone who's truly deserving and uses it for the right reasons, and isn't pig-headed or big-headed. And what really drives it home for me is that he's 1 year younger than Jake Paul. And the gap between them is tremendous. And I'm not talking about their subscriber count.
I mean, that's true. Yeah.
And by that, I just mean, if you look at, and this is not a let's just rag on Jake Paul, but I'm thinking about literally what I saw from them in this week as we went into the holiday season. I saw Mr. Beast. He hasn't put up the content yet, but I saw him start the YouTube channel for his philanthropy, Beast Philanthropy, which is going to take all of that ad revenue and is going to give it to a local food bank, and that's amazing. He's literally going to take on something, and he's not even 25, and he's taking on something like that. That's insanity. And then I think about the fact that the way he makes his content is he makes his friends and family's life better. He makes the lives of random strangers better, and he spends, and not that you have to give away or spend all of your wealth, and I'm not suggesting that. And it's like, that I'm like, yay, get yours, and yay, capitalism. But like, I love that he's like, he got to a level of comfort to where he's like comfortable, he's safe, he's like good, and that he like employed is like, I'm gonna make money because I'm going to employ my friends and family, so I'm gonna retire them from crappy jobs to literally working in a business that lets them live their dreams and have time for themselves and their families or start families. He literally retired everyone that he loves, essentially. And by retire, I mean they work for him, getting to spend their days having fun for a living and being part of his philanthropic mission. That's like to think and to have that mindset of that's what you decide to do, and you're not even 25 years old. And then by contrast, somebody a year older than him, and it's no offense to the guy, not everyone has to be like that. But
right.
The content of Jake Paul is a lifestyle of flexing and opulence, and wouldn't you love to be this rich, and look at how rich I am, and it's rich people doing rich people things, versus Mr. Beast, by contrast, is how can I enrich the lives of the people around me and of strangers along the way and make the world a better place. And to think about how somebody spends their time in to think about like how he brought everyone in his life more joy and close to him versus the alienating everyone in your life thing. It's like, it really put into perspective to me is like, there is a choice in life of who we choose to be given the same opportunities, because these are both people who were given kind of the same opportunities by social media and took wildly different paths at a similar age. And if I lived in a world where only like Jake Paul exists, I'm much sadder. But if I live in a world where like Mr. Beast exists in that equation, like I'm saying, if the biggest influencer in the world is somebody like Jake Paul, I'm sad. If the biggest influencer in the world is someone like Mr. Beast, I feel there's hope for a younger generation of people to actually care about something meaningful, to care about the right things, to literally decide, oh, I'm going to plant 20 million trees. Oh, we're at 50 million going to figure out how to do Team C's and clean the ocean or purify water or figure something out. Oh, I'm going to start another YouTube channel just to fund a food bank. Whereas you have a lot of people who literally just start new YouTube channels just as a gimmick to see, hey, can I get 1 million subscribers just as a prank? Like, there are people who do that. Mr. Beast wants to do one to fund a food bank to feed people. Like, so I'm grateful to know that a world exists where there's somebody that good and that will do the right things with money and power and a platform and privilege, because I would be very depressed if I really felt that the only thing that mattered to young people today is getting that clout for the sake of getting it and then using it to just be self-indulgent little twerps instead of actually do something good in the world. That's that, like, so I feel comforted knowing somebody that good exists, in contrast to the rarity of somebody that good existing, I'll take it. You get what I'm saying? That's why I'm grateful for Mr. Beast. It's nothing he's done for me personally. It's that the kid gives me hope. Otherwise, I would consider, no offense, Audrey, I would write your generation off as a complete loss if I didn't know that there were. If I didn't know that there was if I didn't know that there were people out there like Jimmy, I might write your entire generation. Personal company excluded. Personal company, present company excluded. Present company excluded. I would write your entire generation off as a loss.
No. Wait, why though?
Because
there are more Jake Pauls than Mr. Beast.
There are more Jake Pauls that are public.
Isn't that everyone in general?
Than Mr. Beast.
And every time I meet a young person between the ages of 15 and 21, they want to be the next Jake or Logan Paul.
But isn't that because of it's not their fault. It's the Jake and Logan Paul's fault, right? Or it's the industry that created the Jake and Logan Pauls.
The industry that created the Jake and Logan Pauls is the people. No, my generation didn't create the Jake and Logan Paul. It's people your age and younger than you worshiping them that did.
Oh, I guess that's true.
It's all your fault, Audrey.
And therefore,
how dare you?
And therefore, it means that young people would rather live that lifestyle and be them, regardless of the substance of that. And they don't care about the substance of that, then would become Mr. Beast. They
sadly, it's true.
Because again, the lifestyle of driving Lambos, living in a mansion, Mr. Beast lives humble.
Mr. Beast, and the
famous. Yeah, Mr. Beast is humble. He doesn't even like to drive. The car exists as a business necessity for shuffling the crew around. And it's not even a car. I think it's an SUV that exists for shuffling his friends and family and crew around. It's a business thing. He hates driving. He doesn't own a fancy car. He doesn't care about it.
Roberto, let me ask you this. When are you going to retire your friends and family?
The minute that I have the money to do it. And I kind of have retired my family for the most part.
Okay.
I don't have.
So when are you going to retire your
I don't have the look. Let's get me to making $1 million a year, and you can I can retire you guys, and you guys can move back to Atlanta, and you can do whatever you want.
Audrey's
working for me. She's
not my generation.
I make it fun. Literally, I'm making $1 million a year. You guys are both welcome to move back to Atlanta and have fun working for me, and then and you can do whatever you want.
Audrey's blinking a bunch.
The deal's on the table.
It's always...
I don't know, man.
I put that on the table. Now again, you don't want to live in Atlanta because remember to be in the Beast crew, you got to live in Greenville, North Carolina. Because that's the other thing. People go out to Hollywood. People go out to Hollywood, and that's fine and everything like that. And the thing is, I didn't stay in the town that I grew up in or anything either, But
Audrey's considering joining Team 10.
No, hell no.
No, please no. Please
I
no.
would never.
I will
if I join Team 10, please
I will come and save you. I will literally come and I will storm
we will hold an intervention.
We will hold an intervention. We'll exorcise your demons.
I'll bring the holy water.
Yeah, I'll bring the crucifix.
That won't happen. Don't worry. Also, Team 10 dead anyway, so that couldn't happen even if it wanted.
They keep a recruitment page.
The spirit is still alive. The spirit is still alive.
You remember how it started, how it's going, how it started, and he had him and all of the Team 10 homies and how it's going. At least he's self-aware about it, and it was just him. Remember that? That was funny. At least that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least that was funny.
Yeah. I mean,
but seriously,
it's a good thing to be grateful for that. I feel like it's a nice thing to be grateful
for the YouTube community.
Yeah, I'm grateful that is the person that is the most relevant influencer, and I'm oh, thank God, because it I would rather people be inspired to know that you can be rewarded for doing good and not being douchey and not being obnoxious. And I would prefer that people follow in that example. It's kind of like how I'm thankful for Gary Vee, because he showed that you can hustle hard and you can be blunt, and you can be those things, and you can also be good, and you can be kind, and you can be generous, and you don't have to be Steve Jobs.
True.
I'm grateful for Pat Flynn. I'm grateful for all the good people who do good things. I'm grateful for the people who set a good example, and I'm only saddened by the fact that they're not the biggest in the business. I wish to God that the good people were the biggest in the business.
Yeah.
A little bit of balance is all right, though.
It is what it is.
Right? The yin and the yang.
It is what it is. I think it's representative of like, I mean, there's a quality to quantity thing, but like, I think it's representative of what is relevant and what people's value system is based somewhat in who they choose to support. Like, I think that says a lot about us as a society and a culture when we make selfish people, thoughtless people, sometimes straight up bad people rich and famous. That says a lot about us.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like there's this isn't new, like this isn't a new concept. It's not something that just came about because of social media and influencers and Logan Pauls and whatnot. This has been going on for a while now. Even, you go back all the way to the start of reality TV, and we've got people who are essentially from the middle of nowhere who really have no business having any sort of platform.
They did that because they tested well with the focus groups, which was just a macro version of what social media provides.
Right.
You know this because casting. You've done that.
Right. But the idea behind it is like the concept of grabbing this semi kind of normal, right? I mean, just your average run of the mill family or person or business, and then suddenly putting them in the spotlight, but enhancing the drama, the everyday life drama, making it more of a big deal of like, oh, look how crazy or like wild, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this family, that these people are doing this. And like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy and trashy. And it's like, well, it's framed that way, but essentially their acting is the way that, a lot of the majority of people will act.
But remember, this is why I can't be a vlogger, is because I'm too boring. I'm like, my life is maybe far removed from what a normal day-to-day person's would be, but like to actually watch it has no entertainment value whatsoever.
Well, I think part of it too is like, it's not just a lot of, if you look at like reality TV families, if they weren't on TV and they weren't, like, they didn't have these situations that the production puts them in because, the ratings, these people would be living very, I would argue, more boring lives.
So for something like MTV, The Real World, yes. But the reason that Love and Hip Hop works and the Kardashians works and so on is because even without contrived situations, that's just, again, and this is why I was telling a client of mine today, YouTube has somewhat devolved into literally anything that's popular on YouTube can mostly be reduced to watching rich people do rich people things.
Audrey, I'm curious to know, because like Roberto and I kind of like, while we kind of went from, the golden age of TV and animation and TV series, like actual serialized narratives, to the boom of reality TV shows with, the real life, the Real World, The Simple Life, and like all these things ultimately leading to like the Kardashians and all that stuff. And like, so Roberto and I kind of saw this boom of going from, hey, you're watching TV, this is nothing of what you're watching right now, unless it's the news, is real. Yeah. Everything you're watching right now is dramatized. It is a narrative.
Contrived.
To suddenly reality TV where it's positioned where these people are real, right? But they're not real because it's everything is, the production is still controlling these people's lives, but it's very, it's framed as reality TV.
It could be real.
Right. It could be real. Well, there's certain aspects of it that are real, but it's
this meta quasi. It's this meta, like the vloggers of today. They might be caricatures of themselves, but they exist in reality, and they exist in a reality that is tangible. It's not a set versus the MTV stuff.
The reality TV set, right. Yeah, reality TV is real, but it's controlled.
Right. These vlogs are people who their friends and family basically have cameras and they're practically making home movies, but they are somewhat contrived as what Jake Paul liked to call lightly scripted vlogs.
Right. So I'm curious to know, Audrey, if you have watched any reality TV, not vlogging or YouTube stuff, like actual reality TV.
My roommates have been watching Big Brother, so I've seen a little bit of that now, which I had never seen before. But yeah, what was your question?
How do you feel about it?
Like compared to vlogging and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's kind of the same sort of concept. Like that's where the Jake Pauls got it from.
Do you feel vlogging has become like watching rich people do rich people things?
Definitely. I mean, there's definitely some, like I'd say the more popular ones are all rich people doing.
I'm going to literally pull up the trending page. And if you want, Romina, you can screen share because I'm going to put it up to where you can screen share. I'm going to pull up the trending page on YouTube. And it's like, let's see how much of the trending page that's not music videos is literally just rich people doing rich people things.
I'd say like 97.
I almost want to do like, I mean, I don't know how it would come off. I'd have to I don't know how it would come off because I don't want to be overly cynical and negative. I mean, unless I'm maybe on the podcast, because then I get to be overly cynical and negative. But Casey's back, by the way. Like someone said they missed Casey. Casey's back, but vlogging again. But literally I could do a cynical video essay and literally just say YouTube is nothing but, or like YouTube has become rich people doing rich people things.
We should have a new Simple Life, like have rich people doing
simple,
not rich,
not rich people things.
That's
okay.
So here's Minecraft with Dream, and like I guess that's gaming, and anybody can like this. That doesn't count. There's a music video from Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny is literally someone who became rich for her bad behavior on Dr. Phil.
No, that's not.
Oh, is that her?
That's not her.
Are you sure? Oh, no, that's
it's Bad Baby.
Bad Baby. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Bad Bunny's probably
Bad Bunny
like
basically same thing.
Bad Bunny's probably the same thing.
yeah, because God, what's her name? Whoa, Vicky's the same thing.
Yeah.
So like trending is literally all Bad Bunny music videos now. Is that what's like? Geez,
that's what's happening, man. Yeah, what the heck's going on?
I never go to.
I can't believe this is the trending tab right now. I never go there either.
Making a bismuth knife to undo an injustice. I don't even know what that would mean. But here's what I will tell you. To have a workshop where you can make a custom knife or whatever, you technically have to have a lot of money. So we could almost say, that's probably, Roman Atwood vlogs. I can't all right, Roman Atwood vlogs. That's absolutely a rich person doing a rich person thing. So, but I like Roman, but still. Hot ones. Okay, rich people eating wings.
Interview.
It's an interview where we interview a rich person as they
unattainable people.
Yeah. Oh God, Alex.
I don't know if the trending tab's the best place to check. I feel like we should just look at some of the
check my YouTube homepage. My YouTube homepage is going to be Star Wars and anime, and then a couple of rich people doing rich people things.
I think if you look at like the more popular, like if you looked at the
let me pull an
lineup,
incognito tab in YouTube and then and see what the regular YouTube looks like.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Because like for example, if you looked at the VidCon like lineup and at all those creators types of content, I think they could all fit into that category.
Well, the creators VidCon chooses is like a thing for specifically the reason of how big their audience. So by default, it's going to be that.
Yeah.
But in terms, I'm talking more about what is getting views on YouTube, what is popular on YouTube, what is getting millions of views. And for the
What
most
is that?
part,
The owl. The owner, and it's just an owl.
He looks like he's a cute little owl.
That doesn't qualify.
that doesn't qualify.
Can you show us the owl?
So anything that isn't mainstream,
Oh.
if you own an owl, then you're a rich person doing rich people things.
I mean,
Yeah,
maybe this guy just
Yeah,
found one.
or you work at a sanctuary, but still, it's something that's unattainable for the
Yeah,
regular
that's
Joe,
what-
and that's really what it comes down
That's what
to.
the
I think.
slang of me saying rich people doing rich people things is.
Right.
Like,
I think it's good to clarify that for the audience, though, because I
Okay.
think Audrey and I both get what you're saying, but people might assume that you're just talking about rich people things, but obviously, like, poor people work with animals too,
Right.
so it's like,
Well,
you know,
I'm saying,
but not the average
unreasonable-
Joe.
I'm saying
Right.
unreasonable situations that, in terms of, could you
Something that's
replicate-
so wild, yeah,
can
it's
you
hard to
replicate
replicate.
this lifestyle scenario? Can you replicate this scenario while working a 9-to-5 job, making less than $60,000 a year? Probably not.
What about relaxing Christmas jazz music 10 hours?
Oh, I like that. Yeah, let's do that.
Well, that's like, again, that's more of a music, like anything that's music and music videos that YouTube's promoting is not in this category, obviously. Anything
It
that's
also
mainstream entertainment-
automatically wins because in the algorithm, because the people just click on it and you're not watching it. I mean, you're just playing it, you know?
Exactly. Music wins on YouTube, period. Music. So aside from rich people doing rich people things, music and music videos is the most dominant thing in YouTube, period, because of how it can be consumed and how it racks up watch time. So doesn't count. And now YouTube Shorts is also something similar. But again, this YouTube short that's being promoted is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's from a year ago. And
What's this Triceratops doing over here? Oh, what is going on there? What
are
is
you-
that?
what?
Yeah, the Triceratops.
That's
What is that?
Ryan's. That's Ryan's World, which is Ryan is a toy review YouTuber, and he is literally the highest earning YouTuber.
Oh my god.
29 million a year.
Wait, but what is this room he's in? Is this
This
his
is his
normal
room.
set? Okay.
And it's a set. This is one of his toy rooms. One of his toy rooms.
Someone in the comments said either rich people or drama, but I think drama counts as rich
Drama
people.
is only about rich people.
Yeah,
Because why would anyone care?
exactly. So it kind of qualifies.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's the framing of it, you know, because it's like everyday stuff, or it's like it's just any kind of anything that is a little
but
bit troubling.
I'm telling you, if it's not music, and it has 10 million views on YouTube, it's rich people doing rich people things. Or it was mainstream media.
Wait, hover over the
mean, would
McDonald's
Mr.
one. I
Beast
want to
qualify
see
as that?
if he's got another background. Oh, that one's boring.
And this is from 3 years ago. They were in a different house.
Wait,
Oh.
Roberto, so Mr. Beast would qualify as rich people doing rich people things.
Yeah, because he can give away money and he can host a game show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's all bad because it's rich people doing rich people things. I love Mr. Beast. I love Hot Ones. I love a lot of this stuff. Most content creators are good, wholesome, or benign, or even if they're not, and no one's perfect, but a lot of them are not needlessly like, like willfully ignorant, immature, or like doing dangerous things for no good reason. Like, I mean, there's like, there's a difference. Like,
So
that
to
sounds
kind of
judgy on my part, but I think people understand kind of where I'm going with this. Is like, if you look at what is on YouTube, if it has over 10 million views, it's going to be like, there's no everyday person type thing that would ever get 10 million views on YouTube.
so I have a question.
Sure.
Just to kind of pivot the conversation, not really pivot, but kind of to come up with a solution, right?
Yeah.
Not just complaining about how terrible everything is.
Yeah, let's be less cynical.
Let's try to figure out like how can we have more Mr. Beasts.
And by the way, I'm okay with the fact that what is popular is things that are extravagant, or that I'm just saying that if that's the case and we all accept that, then let's not complain about people being fake or anything like that, because we all literally only give attention to what is contrived, and it's now been proven that that's all we do.
What can we do to make more Mr. Beasts? How can we have
to make
more Mr. Beasts in the world?
Because like it's hard to take because it's easier to take the low route, you know.
I would say that to do that, you would have to stop giving attention to clowns.
Yeah, well, it starts with the audiences, but I think it also starts with the creators.
Well, I mean, in everyday life,
there are alternatives.
Well, I mean, in everyday life, like someone like Jake Paul is a class clown who would do anything for attention.
Yeah.
Like, and he even admits as much that was like a lot of what he would act out and act up in school and stuff like that. Sports kept them focused on the right track. If you literally, when somebody decides to act out or be a clown in school, if you just ignore them, which is hard to do culturally, but if people are trained at home to just not give that attention, then those people, they can't get attention for that. And if we give attention and we remember and we continue to, in our framework of society, reward people for good behavior, we go back to doing things like literally giving out good citizenship awards. Hell, if your local mayor actually gave out good citizenship citations again into the community, even to adults and to young people and to college students and everything like that, if colleges did that, if people literally just stopped having the expectation and not like literally, if there was always a reward for excellence and for good behavior and good citizenship and for charity and for just not being an asshole, like literally, more people would do it. More people would do it. But people find that instead, that for being good, they get taken advantage of, they get walked on or stepped on, they get made into doormats, they get picked on for it, or they don't get any equivalency out of it, and it's just like expected of them. Then it makes it harder to be consistent, especially in a world where you see bad people or bad behavior or people who act out or are just outlandish or absurd get rewarded. So if we literally just make it a point to draw a line in the sand and say, hey, you know what? People who go the extra mile, people who do good things, especially when they don't have to, we'll never let them be ignored. We'll never let them be acknowledged. We will never let a good deed go unrewarded, and we refuse to let a good deed be punished. If we decided on that, we'd be fine.
Yeah. MGR in the chat says that she prefers the YouTubers over the reality TV stuff, and she likes Kelly Stamps, iJustine, and I just wanted to comment on her.
I love Kelly Stamps and iJustine. Yeah. I
wanted to bring up her comment because she said it doesn't matter if they're wealthy. I find them fun and interesting. But again, I just want to emphasize what we're talking about here isn't necessarily the wealth aspect, because Justine and Kelly, they don't focus on that kind of thing where they're trying to make drama. They're not focused on the drama.
And they're not showing off opulence. However, the things that they do that are entertaining would be very difficult to replicate on a budget. And they did get content that they did when they had no money, but it did not get the kind of views they got when they had money to put into the experience of entertaining you and what they create. And you can literally go through their catalog and see that, you know? So I'm not saying that it is the only thing that matters, but there are very few there are very few successful low budget YouTubers. There are very few low maintenance YouTubers that get 1 million subs or have millions of views. Even Janelle, who saves money by living out of her van, still had to front $25,000 to have her van, and now she's fronting tens of thousands of dollars to do her RV builds, which is like her biggest series, but that cost a lot of money. So it's still not something that most people and time, and she can have that time because of the money she has as a YouTuber. Even if she's not flexing a opulent lifestyle, it's still content that couldn't be created with like little or no money.
Right.
Because I keep glitching, so I'm like missing parts of sentences and stuff.
But I do love those YouTubers, and I do love that there's positive YouTubers. And I'm not just like just shouting out Mr. Beast is unfair, because Justine is one of the sweetest, most humble, and long-standing creators on this platform.
Right, and she's also done philanthropic stuff on her channel
massive
as well.
Philanthropic stuff, even offline, that people don't even know about. And she always supports creators, and and she is genuinely herself, and has managed to maintain that over a decade-long career, which is very difficult to do. And she is a genuine inspiration to young girls everywhere, but also young men too, who relate to her and also feel like they love the things that she loves, and feel closer to her, because maybe there are not other guys who share their interest where they are, especially if they're on the more techie or nerdy side. So she deserves all the praise in the world. Marquez has been a stand-up example. And he's a wonderful, like, I don't really believe in role models, but if I did, he would be one. Like, I don't believe in role models, but if someone
that'll be a good thing to talk about next week.
Oh yeah, that's actually spicy.
Let's do it next week. Yeah,
we'll do that.
Audrey,
but like, Marquez.
But before we start wrapping up in a bit, Audrey, what do you think is the way to, aside from rewarding good behavior, do you have any other ideas for making more Mr. Beast in the world?
I missed the beginning of that sentence.
Too long didn't watch version, Audrey. My answer is reward good behavior and shun clowns.
Wait, did you not hear my sentence?
No idea what's happening.
Okay, hold on. Audrey.
Yeah.
How can we make more Mr. Beasts? How do we have more Mr. Beasts in the world?
I mean, I don't know, because it's kind of like they impact each other. It's like the audience impacts what's popular, but then the creators impact like what happens. I don't know. I feel like maybe now I feel like the YouTube community is getting to the point where they're I would hope that people are tired of all the drama and stuff. I think there is a pretty good portion of YouTube that is tired of the drama. But I don't think that's ever going to go away completely.
Do you think that the people who would rather watch wholesome content are a silent majority?
I think everyone would watch wholesome content if it was as entertaining as the not wholesome content.
Do you not think that wholesome content is not as entertaining?
I think it is.
Do you think that there's a silent majority of people who would, like, you don't have to show it on screen. So. Actually, you don't have to show it. Actually, we don't have to show it on screen, but I guarantee you, I think that I can pick, like, if I look at someone who's like kind of like problematic, and then if I look at like Casey might still be pulling more views.
I think people do prefer to watch more like wholesome, high quality content than bad stuff. It's just the bad stuff is so like mindless and easy to get sucked into.
I think the issue is that the mindless content has no barrier. The mindless content has no barrier to entry. To like doing drama content requires, you don't have to go out and buy a $3,000 camera to do that.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think like what sort of incentive would make people more comfortable or want to make more wholesome content. Or even just they'd have to see people who do that would have to get more views and would have to get those views more quickly, and they'd have to see people blow up doing wholesome content. I think they'd also probably have to see YouTube, to be honest. I think that as much as people don't want it and they hate censorship and stuff like that, and they hate the platforms picking losers and winners, I think the platforms would have to take hardline stances on making sure that there's never another Leafy. Yeah.
The idea that somebody can post, can shit post and make that kind of content and just be ugly to people. The kind of content. Then you get into
the murky waters of like.
It's actually really simple. If you would get fired from a day job, it shouldn't be. You shouldn't get to do it on the internet and make money at it. It's not slippery slope. It's not a slippery slope. Anyone who says that's making a bad faith argument. If you were in my employ and you said that shit to your coworkers, I'd fire your ass without reservations, and you wouldn't get a wrongful firing lawsuit. The judge, you'd be lucky if the judge, especially here in the South, not only doesn't laugh you out of the court, you'd be lucky if they don't cut a switch for you here in the South. So literally, if you would get fired from a corporate job at the same company, if you get fired for that behavior on site to one of your coworkers, if you worked for the platform, you should be able to get kicked off of the platform for it and not make money from it. That is a very easy line in the sand if you want to call this a career. In a career field, you get blackballed, you get blacklisted. You're lucky if you don't get knocked the hell out for treating your coworkers and colleagues that way.
I mean, I feel like that would definitely.
If Brad Pitt did half of the crap. If Brad Pitt did half of the crap that these problematic influencers did, or got caught on camera saying these things, he'd never work in Hollywood again. So like that's a double standard right there. Like it's really simple. Hollywood can blackball you, employers can fire you, but God forbid a platform not give you a stage and a megaphone and pay you crap tons of money to be an ugly person, when in any other profession, in any other career, if you were in anyone else's employ, they'd say, you know what, fire that son of a bitch. Like that would be
you're
fired.
Change like that.
You're fired.
I feel like if they made a change like that now, in like 10, 15 years, people would look back on this time of YouTube and be like, why didn't they do it earlier? Like that doesn't make sense.
I believe that literally, like if you would be fired from a regular job, if you would be suspended from school, you can't say the harassment guidelines are vague. If you literally would be fired, it's not vague. You know better. It's a bad faith argument. If HR would drag you in and say, hey, you're getting pink slipped, you're getting reprimanded, you're getting docked, it's like, or if like, hey, we're kicking you off the movie set. Think about the things people have been kicked off of movies or not allowed to continue to do the character for. The YouTube community gets a lot more slack doing a lot worse.
Yeah.
I mean, is that justified? Like, probably not. So but if people saw that, they would say, oh, well, that's where the line is. I guess I can't cross that. And you know what? It might be easier to be non-problematic.
Yeah.
I mean, people can talk about expression.
See what alternate reality YouTube.
What does the chat think? What does the chat think about that? I just think that if you stop making jackasses rich and famous, and if the audience won't do it if the audience won't do it, I think the platforms are justified in doing it, because I mean, we may not be employees, but they don't have to enable us, you know?
I mean, isn't it kind of like brands or companies that make and sell products that are bad, but they continue to sell because people continue to buy?
Wait, do you think if YouTube did that sort of like guidelines, that if someone made like another, hypothetically, if they could make another platform like that has the power,
I'd love to see it succeed in this climate.
As YouTube, do you think
I'd love to see it succeed in this.
Freedom of speech, like they don't care.
If you're a one-to-one, because here's the thing, people make their version of YouTube, but it's not YouTube. It doesn't have the UI.
I'm
UX.
saying like it was basically the same.
If you make a YouTube clone, that's like that, I would love to see it survive in this environment, in this climate. I would love to see it. I would love to see whether or not advertisers don't get called out by the mainstream media and have their stock prices tank under shame. Because remember, the advertisers literally, look at how many people turned their back on PewDiePie, even when the headlines were not right about him and were misleading and did a hit. The media did a drive-by on Felix. The media did a drive-by on Felix for clickbait, and advertisers and even Disney backed off and betrayed him real damn quick. Okay. And he's the biggest YouTuber. So, I mean, I would love to see a quote unquote fair tube survive in this climate. And I would love to see how they're going to guarantee. I would love, because that's what people are like calling it, what they want. They're like, all right, build your own fair tube. Here's the thing. I literally could literally prototype and say, here's the UI UX without infringing on YouTube, and here's the UI UX. So here's your UI UX. I will literally do the UI UX work for free so that it's not trash, You go out and get your own damn advertisers. You find your programmers for the algorithm in the back end, but I'll just make sure you have a UI UX. Whoever wants to make FairTube, I'll give you a UI UX design that isn't trash. I'll build logos and icons for you that aren't trash, that don't infringe on YouTube's trademarks. And then you can have a YouTube clone, at least as far as a skin, and then finding the advertisers and finding the programmers, that's your problem, homie. But I'll just make sure that you have a fighting chance here, okay? You get creators to come to the platform. You get viewers to come to the platform. You figure it out. You find VC funding. You find investors. And I would love to see you not have your platform die in 3 to 5 years due to a lack of funding or due to running out of resources or due to your algorithm being buggy or due to you getting sued into oblivion for the copyright hell that people will put you through under the guise of free speech. And then you have to have $1 billion lawsuit with Viacom like YouTube did. You'll be forced to make content ID just like YouTube did or license it from them. And then you're going to have to figure out how to fund that. I would love for all the creators that are disenfranchised and all the people who are so angry at YouTube, I would literally love to see them build FairTube, and I would love to see how long that ish lasts, because it wouldn't be long, I guarantee you, because if they put creators first, which everyone seems to want to do, it means putting viewers second and advertisers third, and you're going to run out of money. And if you get VCs, them VCs are going to come knocking and say, "Where's my money, punk?" They're going to send guys for you. Because it's like, I ain't investing because I'm not stupid.
Are they going to say those words, punk?
Probably. The guys that they send, Mike. The guys that they send with the crowbars,
the
probably.
Coming.
The VCs, like, yeah, these VCs will go gangster. Are you kidding me? They will go gangster. And if they don't, they will hire themselves some paid thugs, some muscle. They'll go to the Enclave. They'll go and get themselves a Lou the Wrench.
You're going to have like a Dwayne Johnson show up at your door.
They will send Lou the Wrench for you. And he's called Lou the Wrench because he's going to take this big old wrench right to your kneecaps if you don't have his money. Like, that's how it's going to play out. And it's like, it'll be a bad day. And I'll be like, I'll pray for you. Thoughts and prayers. Like, because that's what'll happen is at some point, if you want to be able to pay creators, the money's got to come from somewhere. And advertisers ain't out here writing checks to creators out of the goodness of their heart. They want to sell sugar water. Okay? They want to sell Coca-Cola. They like, for real though. Your content, your free speech is either a vehicle to sell Coca-Cola and Pepsi or it's not. And if it's not, then don't complain about being broke. But like, again, that's a ruthless business perspective. But that's what it is. And I think that YouTube handles a balance of it better than they're given credit for personally. People always hate when I defend them, but I'm like, it's less me defending YouTube and more me accepting that there's a reality where capitalism exists.
Wow.
Like, I mean, to be real with you, at the end of the day, we get free unlimited web hosting. Y'all, right. Don't all of us pay like $12 a month to like Apple for like 2 terabytes of storage, and like, you know, we pay Google something.
$2.
I spend like no, I have the maximum amount. Whatever the maximum amount is. But also, actually, I take that back because I'm paying for Apple One now. So I pay $20 and I get everything Apple offers. So I pay $20 a month for everything Apple offers. But like, we're paying that for like all this unlimited storage. You pay like, that's not even unlimited storage. That's just like 2 terabytes. If I think about my whole archive of YouTube content, 2 terabytes isn't going to cut it. Like, so we get unlimited storage. And remember, Comcast, for this live streaming I did on YouTube, Comcast charged me like $600 for going over my plan. Remember?
Yeah.
So like, if I had to pay for YouTube giving me the live streaming bandwidth on top of that, I couldn't afford it. Even I would sit there and be like, geez, I can't afford to be making content if I had to pay for my bandwidth. Right. So like, you know, it's like, it's a lot of money to run these platforms. And everyone thinks, well, don't you think if the big YouTubers really believed that they could bring their audience to a better platform, make a better platform without infringing on YouTube's trademarks, patents, and copyrights, and if they could afford and they could raise the money to get the servers, to get the advertising and marketing together, don't you think that all these millionaires that make $10 million a year on YouTube would have gotten together and emancipated themselves from this platform if they thought they could make the same money and have unlimited freedom, don't you think they would have done it already? And if some $1 billion-a-year corporation really believed they could have built the next YouTube and even take some of its market share, don't you think they would have done it? It's not that easy. And I think people refuse to accept that it's like, it is, aside from Spotify, it is impossible to make a YouTube competitor. Because even if you cloned all the technology, got all the advertiser relationships, all of that, you'd still be beholden to the government regulations like COPPA. So you're not going to have true free speech on that one. You'd still be up for lawsuits and copyright court from Viacom and Sony Music and Universal Music Group. So you're not going to get free unlimited reign on making whatever content you want just on the copyright side. So at best, you're saying, well, we won't ban people for cursing or for hate speech. So then you're just going to attract a bunch of really vulgar people that are going to make the news media write headlines and press about you, and they're going to go after your advertisers. You know they're going to go after your advertisers. So what are you, if YouTube couldn't handle an ad boycott, how are you? So like, how are you going to guarantee your creators pay then? Because you're not going to keep creators if you can't pay them. They'll just go back to YouTube and suck it up. So how are you ever going to make, quote unquote, like a fair tube or a fair YouTube or a free speech YouTube? I've went and I've ran the numbers. I've thought of the logistics. I've talked to lawyers about it. And I've been courted by 20 companies in the last 3 years. Like, would you guys believe me if I told you I've been courted by 20 companies in the last 3 years that told me they could be YouTube with a twist. They could be free speech YouTube. They could be crypto YouTube. You know what happened to all those companies? They failed. They all went bankrupt. And every one of those people ran off with their investors' money and said, oh, I don't know, but I learned a lot. I learned so much. I'll get it right next time. They ran off with millions of people's dollars and they never got a return. They had people put their name on the line and tie their name to a failure. I didn't get involved because I'm not stupid. 20 companies, 3 years, all failures.
That's not good odds.
And that's the ones I know about.
So basically what we need is better culture, better people, and then a platform like this can survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but humans, knowing humans.
Guys, we're supposed to end on a positive note here.
Like, support good people. I don't believe in you don't have to cancel anybody. You don't have to call anybody out. You don't have to take a crap on anybody. All you have to do is when you see good people doing good things, have their back, spread the love, spread the word, and do likewise. I don't is that so hard? Is that really so hard? Is that so hard? When you see good people, when you see, look, I mean, you like whenever I see Mr. Beast do a live stream, I drop super chats and I buy the merch, and not everyone can afford to do that. So fine. But if you can't do that, share content, and not just from someone as popular as Mr. Beast. If you see good YouTubers, if you see good people, especially smaller channels doing good, promote them, tweet them, post them, share them, pump them up in Reddit, talk about how awesome it is that they're doing good things. If you see anybody donating to a smaller content creator, talk about the fact that, hey, there are people out there supporting small content creators, because a lot of people don't believe that anybody backs and supports small content creators. You know, like, you don't have to be extravagant. Look, and this isn't like a pat me on the back thing and everything like that. I saw a small content creator. I saw a kid doing good things. And you know what I did? I sent them one of these. I sent them a camera because I wanted him to be able to make better content. And I wanted to encourage him. And I wanted him to know that, like, somebody cares. And I did that for him. And I wasn't the only one. Terry Warfield raised money for him. Technically T got him hooked up with some lights and some tripod stands and some C stands. Other people got him hooked up with product. So he could review stuff. Like, when you see good people supporting good people, if you can't join in, then like elevate that, promote that, put it on. Like, even to your 20 or 30 people, it's 20 or 30 people they don't have with eyeballs. So like, make it a point to do good, be seen to be doing good, and make sure that people doing good are seen.
Hey, I like that.
That was a positive ending.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to end it. Let's not butcher it. Audrey, do you have any last words? Anything positive else to say?
I think that was a good ending.
I know it was really good. I don't want to mess it up. I'd love to add something, but I'm going to save it for the role models conversation next week. I'll come up with something good.
I was too, but I'll save it.
Yes, support and spread the love. And I also just want to say something else that Caleb in the chat says. We have to choose to go against the darkness that's in the world, and we can't control others, but we can control ourselves, which is pretty nice as well. And I think that kind of really fully encompasses the theme for tonight's episode. And Roberto, do you have an outro for us?
I do, surprisingly enough.
Well, I'm ready. My Santa Christmas tree is ready. Right. My turkey hat is ready.
Yeah.
Take us out.
All right, let's do this. Thank you for listening to the No Assembly Required podcast, filmed in front of a live YouTube audience. No audience members were harmed in the filming of the show, only the feelings of my co-host and maybe one or two problematic influencers. Thank you so much for joining our program. Please leave us a review on Apple. You can't do it on Spotify because they won't update the damn app. Thank you once again for joining us. This has been a Friday holiday edition of the No Assembly Required podcast. Please listen to us on Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time-ish. This has been your trio of hosts, starting with RedRomina, Audrey Spitfire Ember, and of course your favorite Dark Lord of the Internet, Roberto Blake. Thank you for listening. Nop.